Let's talk about the tech in the 2018 Volvo V90. Now, it's not just the infotainment system, there is tech just about everywhere that the driver looks, so it's going to be a little thick, but we'll get through it. We'll start with the steering wheel and the screen. Now, the screen is a configurable display that changes based on whatever mode you're in from the mode switch, and you can also change the appearance of the dials through the settings menu. Now, you really don't get much there. You get your tachometer, your speedometer, and a little map in the middle that tells you your local position. You can have that swapped out with music, but I really kind of prefer having the nav right in front of me most of the time. Now, for the steering wheel, you have your adaptive cruise control settings on the left that lets you choose your follow distance, and it lets you start, stop, and move the speed up and down. Now from there, over here on the right, you have the infotainment controls. You can go volume up, volume down, track left, track right. There's an enter button, and then you engage your voice controls up here, and you swap through a little tiny menu on the gauge cluster down there that doesn't offer more than like your trip meter and your distance to empty. So now let's move into the infotainment screen. The infotainment screen is vertically oriented, kind of like an iPad standing up. Your home screen comes with 4 different tiles. It gives you navigation, audio, phone, and then whatever your most recent app is. Now for me, it's Apple CarPlay because I tend to use Apple CarPlay pretty frequently. But it could also be something like Spotify or Google or any of the other apps built into the system that I'll be talking about in just a minute. A quick swipe of the menu to the left will show you your vehicle functions. Basically, anything you need to adjust regarding the vehicle itself can be accessed in this menu just by a single tap. You can turn on and off your stability control, your parking sensors, and your start-stop. Down here, there's a button for camera, which allows you to look at a bird's eye view of the vehicle, and you can zoom in on individual cameras if you're getting a little close to the car on the side of you as you're trying to park, for example. At the bottom, you can change your head-up display or just turn it off if that's what you're into. And you can also do things like set your wipers into the service position and turn on or off your active bending headlights. At the bottom of the infotainment screen is your climate control settings. Tap the little guy. You can largely leave it in auto and it'll be just fine, but if the people in the back start complaining, there is a setting to engage the rear climate for them so they can fiddle with the control back here and deal with it themselves. You can also set the vehicle to precondition, whether you like it warmer or cooler during the day, so that way, when you get in the car, you're not freezing or, sweating yourself to death. Last but not least, one quick swipe to the right shows you all of the applications you can access at once. It shows you every audio input from AM radio all the way up to your iPod or Sirius XM. Underneath that, you can look at your car status. You can also check your driver performance, see how your MPGs have been doing over the last couple hundred miles. And there's a setting called Sound Experience, which allows you to tailor the audio in specific ways. There are 3 settings here. It is Studio, Individual Stage, and Concert Hall. Studio's your pretty traditional setup, but with this Bowers & Wilkins system, I'm keen on the Concert Hall. Now, when you're listening to people talk on Sirius XM, it sounds like they're kind of echoey, but once the actual music kicks in, it's a properly good experience. Now, if you swipe right from the infotainment screen, you come up on Applications. This basically lets you access anything you want in the infotainment system. You have all of your sound inputs up top, from AM all the way down to Sirius XM. Below that, you have car status and messages and your access to your CarPlay and Android Auto. At the bottom, you have your apps. You have Glimpse, which lets you share your location, you have weather, and you have 3 different internet radios. You have Pandora, TuneIn, and Spotify, all of which can be run through the 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot, so you don't even have to plug your phone in to get access to your Spotify account, which is pretty nice. Lastly, you have Record and Send, which lets you send small voice messages, and Yelp, which, for some reason, if you still haven't figured out what dinner is, you can check up local reviews. Other than that, that's about all you need. 3 screens, quick access to all the stuff you need right in the middle. It's a pretty straightforward infotainment system. And that's all the tech in the 2018 Volvo V90.